Today on JiK Labs, we're going to look at the Microsoft Excel function Subtotal. Let's get started. Now that you have Excel and open and ready to go, you're going to see that we have some fake sales data that we used in a previous example. And what we're going to do today is we want to see the subtotal of those sales. We already have down below the sum of total sales, which is $2,255, and that equation, as you can see here, is sum of E2 to E11. Same thing with the max sale is 750, and that's equals max of E2 to E11. We have already covered these equations, so we're not going to spend any time with them. But what we will do is jump right into subtotal. So we're going to start with subtotal. When you open those parentheses, subtotal just doesn't give you the sum. It can give you the average, the max, min, the product, so on and so forth. The very first information that we have to give subtotal is what we want to do. So 9 denotes sum. So we're going to do that, hit the comma, and then it's the range in which we want to subtotal. E2 to E11. We're going to close out those parentheses, and we're going to hit enter. And we're going to say, wow, great, Josh. That's the same exact thing sum has already done for us. So we're going to come in here, and what subtotal does, which is really nice, is now we want to filter our data. So we're going to come up here. The shortcut key for auto filter is Alt-D FF, or you can come up to your home ribbon and select sort and filter, and we can select the filter button, and it adds in the auto filters. So right now, let's select salesperson, and let's just look at Jack. And we hit OK. Well, now that we're seeing something, because now we see Jack's subtotal of sales is 500, but the total sales, which is the sum function, is 2,255. So let's look at this equation. Again, subtotal, 9 means sum, and then the range. Now if we were to come in and add somebody else, Jack and Lee, now that has automatically updated for us, and the sales total is still the same. Let's find out the percentage of total sales of Jack and Lee. Well, we would come into percent of sales, and it's the subtotal divided by the total, and we can see, well, the formatting is 37%. There's a look at that equation. And now let's come back to everyone, and we can see that now we have 100% of sales, which is no kidding, right? Because that is now everyone is being shown. Subtotal is a very easy function that will show you, as you're filtering, just a subset of totals or averages or whatever you are filtering that it does for you. Let's look at it one more time with max. So once again, we're going to come in and do subtotal. Max is 4, and again the range is E2 to E11. We'll close out those parentheses, and we'll see once again it is 750. Well, let's sort it again. Let's only look at Alice, and we're going to see that Alice's max total sale was $155, which we can visually confirm up here, and her total sales were $430, which represented 19% of our total sales. So let's highlight this guy so you can see that equation with number 4. So, and let's go back to everyone. Let's say we want to hide line 10 because that invoice is kind of an outlier or whatever. We're just going to hide it. So we'll right click on that and say hide because we don't want that to be included. But as we can see now, the sum and subtotal have not changed. Same thing with max and max subtotal. So why is that the case? Well, when we come into subtotal, we have 1 through 9 will include everything except for what is filtered. But if you go 101 to 111, that excludes hidden cells as well. So luckily, 9 is for just sum. 109 is also the sum that will exclude the manually hidden data. So once again, we're going to go E2 to E11. Close out those parentheses, and now we'll see that this is 2,225 and this is 1,505. Now if you got your handy dandy calculator ready, you'll see that that is $750 short, which is what we've hidden in row 10. If we were to unhide that, there it goes, jumping right back up. Right, so now let's do the same thing with subtotal max. We're going to come in here, edit that function, and we're going to do 104. As 104 is the max function to hide. So right now we have it selected with Robert. So let's just come in here and manually hide that 750. And there we go. Well, we can see the total sales have not changed, but the subtotal has been updated to exclude the manually hidden row. Same thing with the subtotal max now. Again, 1 through 9 includes everything except for what's been filtered out, and 101 through 111 excludes manually hidden cells or rows as well. So let's come back to everyone, and there is our data. The subtotal function is a nice little thing in Microsoft Excel that allows you to see the subtotal of the items that you're filtering. A lot of times if you just use the auto sum or sum this column and you're filtering through it, you don't really know what all the sales are without potentially going through and highlighting them and seeing the total down in the lower right hand side here. Or you can add them up yourself. The subtotal saves you all that effort. While we're talking about subs, don't forget to subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you're up to date on all of our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Today on JiK Labs, get out your calculators, we're doing some subtotaling. Let's get started.